Alright, in this video we'll be going over the continuation of the C# tutorials. So we'll be continuing on to some more concepts. So now we'll talk about a little bit about the math class. So the .NET Framework's math class provides several methods for performing complex mathematical calculations. So the .NET Framework provides a class named Math, which contains different methods. So we'll just go over some of them. If you're taking this in school, you probably won't be tested on all of them. You'll probably be tested on a few of them. For example, math.power is a pretty common one. You may get, so I'll just go over them. I won't be writing them all out. So it's just like, so math.abs returns the absolute value of x. So right now I'm not typing anything on the screen. This is just from the last video, so we'll just talk about some notes just through audio. So we have math.abs takes parameter x, which returns the absolute value of x. Then we have math.a cosine, math.a cos takes parameter x, returns the arc cosine of x in radians. The parameter x is a double and the value that is returned is a double. So that's the same for math.a sine, math.a tan. So arc sine and arc tangent, same parameter, same output, or return value. So then we have math.ceiling takes parameter x, returns the least integer that is greater than or equal to x, which is a decimal or a double. So returns the least integer. So it's kind of tricky. You may just have to play around with it or see a better example or just kind of test it out. So it's usually kind of a rounding thing. That's why it says greater than or equal to x, which is a decimal or a double. So usually it's a rounding kind of thing. So if it's like, you can round, so you can go like 3.9 or like 5.9 or whatever, 4.9, and round it. So if you go math.ceiling, basically it's kind of tricky. Actually, sorry, this is going to round up, I believe. So ceiling means up, floor means down. That's how I remember it. So I believe, so it returns the least integer that is greater than or equal to x. So let's just go to the screen here for a sec. So if we just, let's do some notes maybe down here. So if we have like 4.9, and if we say that we want to call, actually let's not do that, let's just go say, so we have 4.9 and say we want to, let's just say val points to double val. Actually let's just leave those access modifiers out, so we just have double val points to 4.9, and then we say, if we say math dot, sorry, there's a capital M on that, so math dot ceiling, because C# has they require capitals for a lot of stuff that Java doesn't. That's the way they kind of make it different. But here we pass in val, so that would return, if we call that, then the output should be 5. I think it's an integer, so it would return 5. You can test that. The opposite of that is math.floor takes parameter x, returns the greatest integer that is less than or equal to x, where x is a decimal or a double. So in that case, that would mean, so it says returns the least integer that is greater than or equal to. So returns the least integer that is greater than, so returns the thing I was reading there. I was reading ceiling, so now we're going to read floor, so sorry for that if I confuse anyone. So now we'll take this out. So here we're going to call math.floor and pass in val. And then here we'll get, sorry, I forgot a semicolon here too. Typing Python out. Okay, so we have, so math.floor, pass in val, so the definition states that it returns the greatest integer that is less than or equal to x. It's kind of a tricky definition, but less than x would mean that it's 4.4, basically 4. It should be 4. You can double check that. Hopefully I didn't mess that one up. It's pretty much from what I remember from other languages like Java and stuff. They have the exact same method name, ceiling and floor. I guess Microsoft did that, so if you're coming from Java, it makes it easy to use. Besides that, we have math.cosine, math.cos. Maybe I'll just show you guys what they actually look like. So we'll start from the beginning. Math.abs. We won't actually take these. We won't do any more than that. So absolute value, you guys can check the math definition of that on the internet or whatever. Then we have math.a cosine. Then math.a, sorry, the C should be, that's fine, yeah, a sine. Actually, we can do these in a line since they're all the same. Math.a sine of x. Then we have math.a tan of x. So those are the three, and then there's going to be on the flip side, they'll just be cosine, sine, and tan. Should be. So we talked about math.ceiling. Did I spell that wrong? Oh, I think it's E-I-L-I-N-G. Okay, so it's math.ceiling. Takes parameter x. We did an example of that. And on the flip side, we have math.floor. So a lot of them are similar, so that'll help you kind of group them together. So once you know these three groups, pretty much this has another three of them, which is math.cos. Takes parameter x. They all take parameter x. Oops. Then math. We'll come back to that one. So then our next group would be our next one would be, whoops. I don't usually type that many comments out. exp takes parameter x. So what is exp? So returns e, the exponential, returns e to the power of x. Exponential. It just says exp. I think that's something to do with scientific notation. Returns e to the power of x. I'm not exactly 100% sure. It's either exponential or scientific notation. So returns e to the power of x. The argument x is a double, and the value that is returned is a double. So you can always check those out on the Microsoft docs. math.floor we talked about, and then we have math.log, log of x, so the logarithm, whoops, which is a logarithm. I kind of forgot what that is, but I remember using it in math. So returns, actually don't need to do a definition, but it just returns the natural logarithm of x. The argument x is a double, and the value that is returned is a double. Then we have math.log 10, so I think it's a base 10 log. Returns the base 10 logarithm of x. The argument x is a double, and the value that is returned is a double. So I believe the next ones you'll probably use math.max of x comma y. So this returns the greater of the two values x and y. On the flip side of that, we have math.min, which also takes parameter x comma y. Then we have math.pow. You'll probably get tested on this one, x comma y, which returns the value of x, a double, raised to the power of y, also double. The value that is returned is a double. Then we have math.round. Takes parameter x, returns the value of x, a double, or a decimal rounded to the nearest integer. We'll add sine and tan to this group up here. Probably won't be using these unless they're doing some kind of geometric problem or something like that. Angular problem, which is usually just like high school math. Not necessarily, but most of the time. So then you have math.tan, and then again, there could be high school students listening to this, so I guess they are introducing computer science more in high school now, which is good. I wish we had that back then. I tried to take something. I tried to take that in high school. I selected information technology as an elective, and all we did was like edit pictures. Nothing, we didn't really do any coding or anything. We used GIMP, which is like Photoshop. We got to use computers, but like, I don't know, it was pretty, I think it was pretty behind. I think it just depends on the school though. Seems like other schools offer different programs. Now they're apparently teaching coding in elementary. My nieces are learning that in elementary, like x points to y, and then you can add them and stuff like that. Or like a string A, B, C, or whatever. Alright, so anyways, we have 6 of these, so you have to remember that if you get tested on it, that there's 6 of those Angular math functions or methods. Arc, so you just remember cosine, sine, tangent, and then arc. Cosine, arc, sine, and arc tangent. Then you have, so math.round, math.sqrt, you'll probably get tested on that one. It depends on your professor or your teacher if what they really focus on in class, in the notes. So then we'll have math.truncate. This might be not sure if this is just special too. I can't remember if they had this in Java, but this returns the integer part of x. Okay, so for example, if you have like 0.05, it returns 0.5 basically, something like that. Sorry, nope, I got that wrong. Okay, so if we have totally opposite, so I apologize for that. So if we have 5.05, truncates means remove. I believe it removes the decimal, so then it'll return 5. So once again, if we have let's take this down here. So if we have math.trueNegate, let's just say we have double val points to 5.05. We say math.trueNegate val, then the output should be 5, because I believe trueNegate means remove the decimal. Remove the fractional part. So that's pretty much all of them. So these are methods provided by the math class. If you want more detail on any of the methods, just search for math class in the MSDN help systems, which is the Microsoft Docs basically. So these methods usually accept at least one, well, they accept one or more parameters. They perform a mathematical operation using the arguments and return the result. So we'll do another example here. Okay, so that should be fine. Say that this is the math class. And here if we have example, so if we have double val again, and say val, and say val points to math dot, which we're going to need a number here. Okay, actually we don't, so we'll have math dot pow, actually no, math dot sqrt, we'll pass in 4.0. I think you need a double and want to take the square of 2. So this method takes 2 double arguments. It raises the first argument to the power of the second argument. Whoops, sorry, this is wrong. Okay, I think there's a mistake here. There should be power. So it should take 4 to the power of 2, which would give you 4 times 4 is 16. It can be a little bit tricky because it takes 2 parameters, so you'll probably get tested on ones that take 2 parameters. Whereas the rest are kind of easier. So it should be 16. I believe it takes a double as we said, so the answer would be, they'll also get tested on that. You probably lose marks if you just put 16, so remember to put, if it's a double, put 0.0. If it's a decimal, 0.0m or whatever. If you just put 16 and the answer is a double, you'll probably lose marks in most cases. Unless you're on like the brink of failing, you'll probably get, or if you have a really strict professor, you'll probably get marks taken off you. So just be careful. So the method takes 2 double arguments. So we'll just go back here. So the methods usually take 1 or 2 parameters or more. For example, the math.pow method raises a number to a power. So we have double val points to math.pow, which takes parameter 4.0, 2.0. The method takes 2 double arguments. It raises the first argument to the power of the second argument and returns the result as a double, which is stored in val. So this is the same as the algebraic expression. Whoops, sorry, hit the mic here. My hand's caught on the wire. I tried a Bluetooth mic, but the quality isn't very good. If you guys noticed, if you ever tried a Bluetooth mic and you try to do a recording for YouTube, the quality is actually really bad. Yeah, so I'm not sure why. You basically need to have a wired mic But anyways, okay, so this is the same as the algebraic expression val points to 4 to the power of 2. I can't change this into a small notation, the 2, so I'll have to use a power sign, but that's the same thing. So math.sqrt, we'll just go with sqrt of 16.0 would give us 4 in that case, 4.0, which is the same thing as val points to, the actual symbols of the sqrt, the square root symbol, that kind of box thing with a checkbox, the check mark and the box. So then there's also the math.pi and math.e named constants. So the math class also provides 2 predefined named constants, which are, so we can delete this. Actually, we'll just leave it, maybe someone wants to copy it out. So if we have math.pi and math.e, so these are constants. So they're going to have a value for them. You can always just go console.log math.pi to check the actual, well, pi is going to be 3.14 something, math.e, I think, is it 2 or something? 2 point something, I'm not exactly sure, I forgot. But for example, you could use these in a example like val points to math.pi times math.e times radius or something. So you may need to do those in some kind of problems to practice code. That's pretty much it. That's the whole math class, so I'll probably just leave it there. Oh, that's most of the math class at least. So yeah, so if you guys need some more information on that, always check the docs. So hopefully that helps. So thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys liked the video, you can like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.